Yonder spoilers Friday, August 30th revealed Jack's concerns about Kyle as he goes too far. Where every event can lead to unpredictable consequences, Kyle Abbott is in the middle of complicated family conflicts and intrigue. When Kyle rejects Victor Newman's favor, he not only puts himself in a difficult position with the most powerful man in town, but also faces deeper troubles from his own family. Victor, always the one behind the ambitious plans, has high hopes for Kyle to rule Glissade together. However, Kyle, with his strong personality and independent spirit, refuses this favor. He does not want to be a pawn in Victor's hands, even though he knows that it could put him in difficult situations in the future. At the gym, Victor, not one to be easily rejected, invites Kyle out for a drink. Although he wants to keep his distance, Kyle cannot refuse Victor's insistence. The two raise their glasses, and Victor begins to mention Kyle's custody battle. He worries that these family issues will distract Kyle from the plans they have for Glissade. Kyle, despite his assurances that his family will not interfere with his work, cannot help but feel pressured by Victor. When Victor suggests a job with Jobot, Kyle, eager to prove himself, is excited. But beneath that enthusiasm, there is something deeper going on inside Kyle that even he can't quite figure out. Meanwhile, at Jobot, Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins are dealing with their own issues. Diane, despite her efforts to prove herself within the company, feels pressure from employees who question her right to be there. She suspects that Kyle planted these doubts before he left, and this makes her feel insecure. After his encounter with Kyle, Jack also begins to fear that Diane may be right. He feels helpless in not being able to protect Diane from the stresses of work and worries that this may affect their relationship. When Jack tells Diane about his encounter with Kyle at the sports club, they both sense that something deeper is going on with Kyle. Diane, though reluctant to admit it, begins to think that she is the problem. She worries that her presence may cause a rift in the Abbott family, especially with Kyle, who was once very close to her. But Jack, deeply in love with Diane, tries to reassure her that they can get through anything together. He reminds Diane of what they have been through and how they stood strong during the toughest times. Meanwhile, Billy Abbott and Chelsea Lawson are dealing with conflicting emotions. Chelsea, hurt and remorseful, begs Billy for forgiveness after what happened between her and Adam Newman. But Billy, although understanding Chelsea's feelings, still finds it difficult to forgive. He says that it's too early and that it takes time to heal. Chelsea, overcome with emotion, asks Billy to listen to her. After an emotional speech, Chelsea agrees to leave Billy alone if that's what he wants. However, she hopes that Billy will let her stay and find a way to fix the mistakes of the past. Billy, though truly hurt, cannot deny that Chelsea is truly feeling bad. He senses the pain and remorse in her words, and this makes him start to rethink his decisions. Chelsea, meanwhile, feels helpless that there's nothing she can do to change the situation. She understands that the decision to keep her relationship with Adam a secret was hers, and now she has to face the consequences. Billy, though he wants to blame Adam, also realizes that Chelsea has chosen this path and no one can change the past. But in another corner of Genoa City, another tense encounter is taking place. Sally Spectra, having decided to leave her relationship with Adam, runs down the stairs in her sportswear and carrying a large bag. Adam, shocked to see Sally leave, tries to hold her back. He begs Sally to stay and talk, even saying that he feels like if she walks out that door, he will never see her again. But Sally, with all the hurt she has suffered, decides that it is time to move on. She cannot live with the torment and pain that her relationship with Adam has brought her. Adam, with pain and helplessness, watches Sally walk out of his life. He understands that everything has changed and cannot go back to the way it was. Sally, determined, decides that she needs to find peace and freedom for herself, even if it means leaving the man she once loved. Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins are planning one of their boldest moves yet, to take down Victor Newman, a powerful man few dare to confront. When Jack tells Diane that their first target is to take down Victor, it is not just empty words but a bold decision that has been nurtured after months of preparation. Diane knows that to achieve this goal, they need to carefully calculate every step, because Victor is not someone who is easily subdued. Meanwhile, Victor Newman is continuing his plans, one of which involves Kyle Abbott and Claire Grace Newman. Victor, with his controlling and powerful nature, wants Claire to work with Nikki Newman to further strengthen the stability of the Newman family in their future plans. However, this means that Claire will have to give up her role as nanny to Kyle's son, Harrison. For Kyle, this is not an easy decision. Harrison has been with Claire for a long time, and Kyle understands that this change could cause a major disruption in the boy's life. Kyle, as a father, cannot accept Victor's request easily. He asks Victor bluntly if he is asking him to fire Claire. Victor, in his usual calm but sharp manner, rephrases his opinion: if Kyle can find a replacement now, Claire will feel comfortable moving on. However, Kyle is not so easily convinced. He knows that Claire is very devoted to Harrison, and she has become an important part of his son's life. This bond is not something that can be easily changed, and Victor realizes that. The conversation between Kyle and Victor becomes tense as neither side is willing to budge. Victor suggests that Claire has become a mother figure to Harrison, which further complicates the decision. Kyle, as a father and son in the Abbott household, cannot easily ignore Claire's role in Harrison's life. He firmly refuses Victor's request, citing his son's safety and well-being as the reason. For Kyle, Harrison's safety is the top priority, and he will not let anything compromise that, even if it means confronting Victor Newman. Meanwhile, at the Abbott home, Jack and Diane are still discussing their plans when Tracy Abbott and Alan walk in. Tracy, the family's most concerned sister, has a big decision to make. After years of moving between cities and a busy life, Tracy has decided to live full-time in Genoa City, where she feels at home. This is good news for Jack and Diane, as Tracy's presence will provide much-needed stability and support during the difficult times ahead. Alan, Tracy's companion, also decides to stay in town. He makes the athletic club his home, a decision that comes as no surprise to anyone who knows his commitment to Tracy and to Genoa City. Both want to contribute to the stability and growth of the Abbott family during these trying times. Meanwhile, the complicated relationship between Billy Abbott and Chelsea Lawson is experiencing major turbulence. Billy, still reeling from past emotions and trauma, tells Chelsea that she can't come back. He fears that his anger will lead to unforeseen consequences, and that makes him decide to distance himself from Chelsea. Chelsea, heartbroken, can't contain her emotions and sobs as Billy leaves. She realizes that everything between them has changed forever, and there's no going back. The complexities of love and loyalty are also evident in a conversation between Adam Newman and Sally Spectra. Sally, who is trying to understand the relationship between Adam and Chelsea, asks if there is love between them in their betrayal. Adam, with sincerity and determination, surprises Sally even more by answering yes. This confession is not only an admission of his feelings for Chelsea, but also an admission of the complexity of his relationship with Sally. This leaves Sally wondering about her future with Adam, and whether they can overcome these difficulties. The decisions made today will create unpredictable consequences in the future, and no one can be sure of the final outcome. Kyle, Jack, Diane, Victor, Billy, Chelsea, Adam, and Sally, all are at important crossroads in their lives. Who will win this battle, and who will pay the price? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain: their lives will never be the same again. Subscribe to Yonder channel to get the latest news on our channel.